I would like to go on and read out some of the questions. You are a superstar panelist.
No problem.
So many questions I see here, but I'll start from those that came in early as 10:33 a.m.
Okay.
Etiel asked the question: how is the AFCFTA going to deal with the sovereignty concerns, especially for small economies in Africa? I would also love to hear from you, because I'm from Rwanda, which is a rather smaller economy, emerging, but relatively small if you look at the other economies on the continent. So how does the AFCFTA plan to deal with the sovereignty concerns?
Well, the first issue is that by coming together, it means you are surrendering national sovereignty and pulling continental sovereignty. So by signing this agreement, countries have affirmed to themselves and the rest of the world that they are ready to pull continental sovereignty. That is the first issue. The second issue is that countries like Rwanda, what's the population of Rwanda?
We're looking at 12 million people.
12 million. All of a sudden, it has a market of 1.2 billion people.
Right.
So if a product is produced in Rwanda, it does not have to just focus for that population of 12 million. It has to look at a big picture. And the history of regional integration is that it's actually the small countries that benefit most. You look at the EU, Ireland, Estonia, because of the smallness, when they export to the rest of the European Union, they benefit most. Similarly, during NAFTA, you look at the three countries, Canada, US, and Mexico. It was Canada and Mexico which are benefiting most because they are able to exploit larger economies of scale. So there's no fear about sovereignty.
Right. And Komi also asked you to explain how your team is planning to implement the rules of origin to avoid the dumping of cheap foreign goods into the African market.
That is what keeps me awake at night.
Interesting.
That's
thank
an
you for the
issue
question.
that keeps me awake at night. And get it that the element is trade deflection. It's very, very, very difficult to monitor. The only long-term solution is that we need to move very fast towards an African customs union and a common market so that we have complete harmonization of tariff levels with third parties and also domestic regulations. When you do that, you have removed the problem permanently. But we are going to come up with a very elaborate monitoring framework, because under the agreement, we are expected to come up with an annual report to the ministers of trade indicating how we are implementing the agreement. So the issue of dumping or trade deflection is going to be closely monitored to see how we can resolve it. And if we see it as a growing phenomenon, then we'll tell the member states that let's not waste time. Let's move fast towards a customs union and internal market. And the foundations are already there. We've got the single African air transport market. We've got the protocol on free movement of people. And we're going to finalize negotiations on the protocol on investment, which will create a common investment area, the protocol on the competition policy, and the protocol on the intellectual property rights. All those are foundations of a common market. So just really getting the political will from member states to say, let's go towards a common external tariff and an internal market, then the problem will be resolved. But it's a real challenge.